all-out battle on The View Friday, prompted by these comments about Rob Porter's resignation.
But why is Kelly so shocked?
Well, we shouldn't make levy of this. We're talking about the abuse of a woman. I mean, look at that photo. We should not be laughing or making.
We're talking about Kelly. We're not talking about abuse right now. Don't say something like that.
We are laughing and making.
We are laughing at him being shocked.
It's not. It's very serious. Well, and as a Republican, I am offended.
As a Democrat, I'm offended by Republicans.
You know what?
I don't know how she sits there. Anyway, my political panel is here, and they're ready for a battle of their own. Former Trump campaign spokesperson Katrina Pierson and former Chuck Schumer radio talk show host Chris Hahn. All right, guys. Do you think it's a little unusual to turn this into a hate Kelly moment as opposed to there are batterers among us, there are women who suffer silently, who get abused and don't get their, don't get real justice, Chris?
Well, look, I mean, if he was enabling him to stay there, then he should be held accountable. And I think that's something we've got to find out. Well, I don't know what he knew and when he knew it. And that's the question everybody's got to ask. And he's got to answer to the American people.
Chris?
If he knew about this, then of course it's a problem. If he just found out about it,
did you
then
listen
I guess
to my open?
It's not his fault.
Chris, did you listen to my open?
I did.
Okay. I spoke to about as senior as you can get in the White House to get that information. Go ahead, Katrina.
You know what, Judge? Your opening was absolutely spot on. General Kelly is a great man. I've met him. I've talked to him. He honestly did not know everything. And I don't know why this notion that somehow John Kelly is responsible for this. Rob Porter was brought in by Reince Priebus. So why would John Kelly know anything about that on the offset? Now what's happening is he's a target. That's exactly what this is. The president is doing well. The economy is picking up. His poll numbers are coming up. And so what happens? They go after the chief of staff, someone that has been helping the president be successful.
Well, you know what's interesting, Chris, is that, and I think we've got these numbers here, poll numbers for the president handling the economy improved 51%. 51%. And you and I both know if it says 51, it's probably 61, because most people won't admit to thinking positively of President Trump.
Look, the economy is going well right now. I'm not going to fault him for anything that's going on in the economy. I don't think anybody will. But I think there's some other things that have to be looked at here, too, besides the economy, things that the president actually has control over. The president promised us all that he would bring in the best people. And so far, it hasn't seemed that way. There are a lot of people who are not the best people, and that's not all his fault. And I'm not going to say it's all his fault, but he is ultimately responsible for the people who come work for him, and he needs to ferret out people who have situations like this, whether they've found out through the FBI or not. These are the kind of people the president should not be surrounding himself with.
Do you really think General Kelly or the president should put on their Sherlock Holmes outfit and get out there and check out someone who doesn't even have a criminal record? Should they scan the country? Go ahead, Katrina.
I think
Well, I'm going to agree with Chris on this, Judge. He's right. It's not all the president's fault because the president is not responsible for doing these background checks. And you have to ask yourself, why has it taken this long for the top staff in the West Wing to not have their clearance yet? That is the question, which leads us right back to the compromise in the FBI and the DOJ that has been doing a ton of things to continue to hurt this administration even before it began.
Chris?
But, Katrina, Mr. Porter had access to top secret documents and be above every single second of his existence in the White House. And for a president who basically got elected because his opponent was accused of mishandling top secret information, to be so lax with somebody who handles top secret information on a daily basis, that is very surprising to me and to the American people.
Go ahead.
No, I don't think that is surprising since it's standard protocol in an incoming administration. Your staffers get a temporary clearance and they go on from there, and the FBI is supposed to be doing their job. But what is horrible when it comes to classified information is Uma Abedin using her husband's email, Hillary Clinton using a private server. These are actual crimes. These are crimes, Chris, that's totally different.
Yeah. Well, I think Mr. Porter handling top secret information may have been a crime, too. And I think it's something that should be looked into, don't you?
It can't be a crime if it's protocol. You don't get your background clearance in 24 hours. It would be nice.
Hold on a minute.
It would really be nice. It would
really
be nice
if the
FBI could actually do these background checks. Why is it taken over a year to get this done for the president's top staff? That's the question.
Katrina,
why is it taking this long?
Katrina, you're an excellent pundit, and I shudder to what you would have said if this was President Clinton's staff secretary being thrown out because he couldn't get clearance because he was beating his wife. Trust me, you would be calling for a congressional inquiry. And believe me, there will be a congressional inquiry in about 10 months when Adam Schiff is given subpoena powers.
Well, I think it's going to be amazing in 10 months when we're back on this show talking about the downfall of the Clinton dynasty finally, because it's long overdue. We're seeing her cronies involved in this very investigation of the current president of the United States. There have been crimes committed here.
I've moved on from the Clinton dynasty.
And the House have already uncovered a ton of information showing that she's absolutely involved in all this. And the question, Chris, is what did Obama know and when did he know it?
Chris, I got to ask you a question.
Obama.
Chris,
it's Obama's fault that Rob Porter broke the law.
You do this all the time. If something happened in the past, it doesn't matter anymore. If someone kills another person, if a year or two passes, do you just ignore it? Are people absolved of their criminal liability or responsibility because of the passage of time? Because maybe there was a corrupt law enforcement effort that tried to protect them?
Judge, absolutely not. But I've been working with you a long time, and if this was Obama's staff secretary, we'd be having a very different conversation about him handling top secret, sensitive government information every single day without clearance. That is a problem. That's why General Kelly has got a problem right now. Not because he didn't know about the guys abusing his wives. General Kelly's got a problem because he knew he was handling top secret information. That's what he has to answer for, not the other stuff.
What should General Kelly do? Run out and get a typewriter and type his own security clearance? Come on. Okay, Katrina, I'm going to ask you one thing.
He should get somebody with the proper clearance to sit in that chair until this guy is cleared. That's what he should
do their job. But then again,
I don't know.
Go ahead,
Come
Katrina.
on, Chris. Hillary Clinton had clearance, and what did she do with top secret information? When she gets handed down an indictment, then maybe we'll talk about Rob Porter. But until then, we have to get down. We have to get down to keeping the rule of law.
What are you going to do when Hillary Clinton moves to Bermuda and we never